ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נותן תורה אמת ובשרה ישועה לעם ישראל ולמכל חכמים על ידי בנו ישוע המשיח אדוננו.
As a gentle southerly breeze begins to blow, the crew of the grain freighter raises the anchor and starts coasting by the coast of Crete. Soon, a full gale from the northeast pushes the ship to the cove Okada. After securing the lifeboat and lowering the topsails, the ship continues to drift. The following day, as the waves and wind crash on the deck of the ship, the crew begins to throw non-essentials overboard. On the day after this day, the sailing equipment is sent into the deep. Over the course of the storm, the crew and guards begin to lose hope of survival. As they have begun to starve, Charles stands in front of the crew and scolds them for not listening to his warning before sailing, reveals that he has had a vision from above, and states that no one will die. However, he does utter a disclaimer. They do have to run aground on some island. By the 14th night of the hurricane, the ship has been sailing in the Adriatic Sea when the crew possibly hears the waves crashing near the shoreline. Upon dropping a plumb line, they find that they are sailing in 120-foot deep waters. After some time passes, they take another reading and find the depth is now 90 feet. The crew scrambles in fear of colliding with rocks, drop the four astern anchors, and pray for daylight. As the ship does not stop, some of the crew lower the lifeboat, pretending to drop the ahead anchors or the anchors in the bow in a plan to escape. Shaw shouts at the commanding officer, "Unless these men remain aboard the ship, you yourselves cannot be saved." After the lifeboat is left adrift, dawn begins to draw near. Shaw urges them all to eat a small amount of food for their own survival and says the blessing over the bread. The dawn sees the crew dumping the grain after they had eaten the bread. At sunrise, they find that the island they are near has a bay with a sand beach and decide to run aground here. Cutting the anchors and loosening the rudder, the crew adjusts the foresail and heads for the beach. As they near the coast, the ship slips into the convergence of two currents, which drop the bow onto the sandbar. As the current propels the pounding surf into the stern, the ship begins to break up. The soldiers, fearing the escape of the prisoners, elect to kill them all, but are prevented by their commanding officer. The commander then orders every man that can swim to dive and swim to the shore. Those that can't are to float on debris. All 276 crew, soldiers, and prisoners arrive on the coast. After they recover from the shipwreck and possibly sickness from the cold, they are approached by the natives of the island. The Maltese natives build a bonfire and welcome these survivors. As they gather around the bonfire, Shaw gathers a bundle of sticks. As is common with most snakes, a venomous serpent, possibly a green-whipped snake, has sought shelter from the cold in the woodpile. When Shaw puts his hand near the area where, unbeknownst to him, the serpent is, it lashes upon his hand. The Maltese, seeing this, believe he is a criminal who has been judged by their idols. However, when he shakes it off into the fire and remains unaffected, they believe him to be an idol.